Hi, everyone. Great, we've got a few coming in now, actually. We'll wait a few more minutes just to see if we have some more come through. We'll get started soon. So you will notice as you've come in to the webinar that your cameras are switched as off. We're just doing that for consent purposes as we're recording this session. Your microphone is off initially, but you should be able to turn that on and off if you want to ask a question or have a chat with Andrew as he presents. So please feel free to do that. And then there's also the chat, the meeting chat function box. Feel free to use that throughout, and I will monitor that. And yeah, I'll jump in, Andrew, if there's any questions and things along the way that that pop up in there.
And Claire will do a couple of stop and holds, and then can turn all the mics on. Can you when we do that?
I can, yes, I can turn everyone's mics on as well. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your screen, Andrew, and I can kick us off? We may as well. Why not? But a little, yeah, a little less registered for this session, so this might be it. We'll see how we go.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, great. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for what is the final club development workshop for Manningham for the year, which seems crazy that it's already that time. But tonight we've got Andrew from Leisure Networks here delivering this session again for us. And tonight the topic is fundraising and sponsorship for sports clubs. Next slide. So Manningham Council acknowledges the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people as the traditional owners of the land and waterways now known as Manningham. Council pays respect to elders past, present and emerging and values the ongoing contribution to enrich and appreciate the cultural heritage of Manningham. Council acknowledges and respects Australia's First Peoples as traditional owners of lands and waterways across country and encourages reconciliation between all. Manningham Council also values the contribution made to Manningham over the years by people of diverse backgrounds and cultures. Also, I forgot to introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Claire, and I'm the Recreation Participation Officer at Manningham Council. And I think that's it from me. Andrew, I'll pass over to you.
Yeah, thanks. So just I might start with a bit of an introduction about who I am before we get into talking to you. So my name's Andrew Crowley. I work at Leisure Networks. Leisure Networks is based in Geelong. It's a regional sports provider, so we look after sports clubs down in the Geelong region. And my background myself is I worked in local government for some time, and also worked as a consultant for a little bit, and then more recently at Deakin University as Manager of Sport and Recreation. So I've been with Leisure Networks for a little while now, probably a few months, but also as a community person. When I'm talking to you, I'll be talking as a club ex-president, current member, and been involved in sport since I was 10. So very passionate about sport. So we might just get, Claire, if you can take the mics off, we might just get people to introduce themselves and tell us which club you're from. So we'll start on the screen with when Claire makes it so you can speak, with Dave maybe.
Dave Burden, no worries, Andrew. Yep, Dave Burden. I'm from the Warrandyte Basketball Association. I'm just a volunteer on the committee, but we've tried to divide up our responsibilities. So I'm looking after sponsorship and community area. So yeah, keen to learn more about the area tonight.
Cool. Beautiful part of the world. Katrina, you can go next.
I'm from Manningham Netball Association, so I'm sort of sitting more at the association level rather than at the club level.
Yeah, no worries. Diane?
There. Hi, it's Diane. I'm the treasurer at Doncaster Dolphins Masters Swimming Club.
Yep. And Katie?
Hi everyone. Hi Claire.
Hi.
I'm from the Warrandyte Footy Club. I've just taken over sponsorship and I'm keen to learn a few tricks of the trade.
Yeah, goody. And who else have we got there? Have we got any others? Have I missed anybody?
I think that's it.
Did we have Daniel there? There's another one there.
I think we did, and someone's popped off, but that's all right.
That's okay. All good. So with tonight, I'll just, I suppose I'll just run through when I talked to Claire about some things that we thought would be handy for you to learn in terms of this. And then I suppose the start one, this slide's about sort of why fundraising and sponsorship matter. So I suppose the principle, the major thing is that it really is about your financial sustainability as a club, and then you making sure that your club, has got the money to and resources to deliver what your outputs are. And I suppose the first thing is it also helps improve build capacity within clubs. And one of the I don't know how many people got paid staff, but it can also sort of help fund some of the resources around that. So if you've got paid coaches, those sorts of things, it can help you make sure that you've got the resources to deliver on those. And it sort of builds a community support and creates a long-term sort of engagement with your community. And also it's a bit about some visibility of your club. So within that that little diagram there, it's about sort of knowing your club really well. So you'll hear when I talk tonight, it's about understanding what your strengths and weaknesses are. So, but understanding your community is really, really important. So when we're talking about the communities there, where we each one's different, and what's around you really matters. And the other thing is, the bottom line is, most of the time it's going to be around making sure that you can deal with, help with your participation. So help keep fees low, get people playing sport, people active, with all the great things why we're involved in sport. So, if you go back to why we're here and as people involved in sport, it's really around that community and participation. And it also provides like funding for the support. And as I said, the financial sustainability is a really important aspect. And I suppose for those who are new, like a number of you said that you're new to sponsorship, one of the first things is to really get to know your community. So, what's happening in your community. So population trends, so they do change, and that can be an impact. One of the things down there is government directions and policies. So some of the things you've got to think of there, if you're talking about sponsorship, is the bigger picture. So if you look at, say, Vic Health around alcohol, healthy eating, gaming, those sorts of things, if there may be money around in those things, however, you really got to watch how that goes with government directions and policies. So when you're making your decisions around planning those things, you really need to take that in consideration. And then it's also about knowing the businesses in the community, who's new. If you're picking up sponsorship when you haven't done it before, just look who's come into the community, who's emerging, who's got good community values. It might be as simple as when you're going down to the shops that somebody talks to you about your sport and they're interested in it. And then sort of mapping out the priority areas. So the example of there is real estate. So when you're doing your sponsorship, there's lots of real estate companies probably around where you are, who's had the previous relationships, who wants to have a relationship with you. One of the aspects you have to really consider is if you have multiple. So like something like real estate, do you have a few, or do you give it promise that they'll be the sole sponsor of that area? So there's some of the things you've got to think before you get out to even start talking to you in your environmental scan. And just also understanding the local economy is one of the things. So, as I said, who's doing well? And sometimes it can be people who want to be sponsors where they might be struggling a bit and they need to reignite their connections with communities. So that's understanding the community. And then one of the other things is in your local community, who's sponsoring other clubs. So you just need to sort of consider some of those aspects. Sorry, did I miss one then? No. So when you're looking at potential sponsors, identifying them is really, really important. So one of the first thing up the top is the shared values. Who aligns with your club's mission and your culture? Whose reputation means everything to you. So who's going to have that reputation-based alignment with your club, and who's got a community connection? So you want sponsors where they're actually interested and they don't just give money, but they actually want to be part of it and have a mutual benefit. Now, the one I've used there is Bendigo Bank. I don't know if anybody has got partnerships with the Bendigo Bank, but they're an example of an organisation where they really made a decision that it was in their financial interest to get involved in local communities. So they really started with a strong philanthropic direction within communities. This is also part of this is knowing the local economy. They've changed. The Bendigo Bank are withdrawing from some areas at the moment. So knowing who aligns with you, but also understanding some change. So they can have a policy change, and then they may have been really good, but then they can change. So you need to be ready for some of those changes. But you're looking for ones who really align with what you believe in and what's strong in your club. I suppose in terms of working with the sponsors before you get out there, it's about sort of knowing what you want to offer. So you connect that sort of offer to the right businesses. So that's that's where it goes back to the community. What's strong about your club? What do people love about your club? And then that's how knowing what you got to offer. So if you're high in, say, female participation, that's part of your offer. If you're really, really good at kids, so then you can really target that when you're designing a sponsorship proposal. And then that's part of targeting the right businesses. So attracting sponsors, you know what you want to offer, and you target the right ones. And then the next part there is telling your story, so that you know your story, and then you're also telling it in the sponsorship proposal. And then part of that is proof points. So sharing those photographs, being ready, and having part of that is very, very connected to your social media. So photographs that really matter, and that photograph image there is a really good example. It just says that kids sport, they're working together, they're united, they're learning, they're wearing a uniform. Those sorts of things really matter for attracting sponsors. That you know who you are, and you make it in essence, you make it easy for them to say yes, and you show them value. And the last point there is about use your networks. So that's if you're picking up that sponsorship. So a company that talked about being new to sponsorship, check out what networks you've got in your club, and also your own personal ones. So if you're new, you may have actually a really good relationship with a coffee shop, which may have not don't have a coffee shop as one of the providers. So use those networks and tell those stories when you're having a chat to them. So this is a good one that you can keep for yourselves, in how that I think is a really good way to develop a proposal. So this can be used as a process. So I suppose for those who are already do the sponsorship, it should start with a review anyway. So it doesn't matter if you're new to the game, or if you are one of the current people who's been looking at the sponsorship, you should always review your current sponsors. I might tell you about my personal story with my club. I'm Torquay Hockey Club. We have been, we started in 2010. We've been going for 15 years and never had a facility. Everything's been virtual, and we've had to travel all the time to a facility. We've just more recently got a facility that's been funded through the state government. So it changes everything for us, that we've had to review our sponsors and what's our new opportunities now we've got a facility. So even if you've had a club for some time, it's always worth that review. And then going back to, as I've said, this will be a thread through this, is knowing through what your strengths are, and what your club has to sell to potential sponsors. And then once again, it's a bit of a thread, but also pinpointing the partners who align with your club and your profile. And then the next bit I've got in there is an audit of the club members and opportunities. So that can be conversations. It could actually be something you put out in a survey, where you audit for potential sponsors, and that particularly can come from the new kids. If you've got a sports club with young kids in it, under 8s, under 10s, people who are coming to the club who haven't been part of it, there can be some gold in there for new potential sponsors. If you're looking across some of the sports here, basketball, football, there's new people coming in all the time. And from a swimming context, that may be, you've got people who've moved to the area as well. And then after you've gone through that, you redesign your sponsorship proposal, and so that it fits with your current club direction. So it should be, that's part of the review process. That's where you're heading, where you want to go, and you tell that story. And then the next one, I know it's obvious, but it's hard work, and that's connecting with the people in person. So sending out proposals, a bit of a blitz. It's pretty unlikely you get bites. It's about going out and connecting with people. And if you're leading the sponsorship side of things, that doesn't have to necessarily be you. And maybe somebody who is, say, I've got somebody who's a tradie, who's got connections with other tradies. You might get that person to work with you as a member, and some may have a sponsorship subgroup with people to help you with that connection with people in person. And then the last one is a big one. So those who have been doing it for some time, it's hard. So delivering on your promises is work. And if you're going out and signing sponsors up, you're signing them up so that you should be making sure that what you put in the package you can deliver on. So when you're designing a sponsorship package, make sure that you can deliver on those promises. And if you have sponsors where you haven't, they'll be hard to sign up. And then the other things, it's not as comfortable a conversation. Just a personal one where I didn't deliver once. I had a sponsor who I'd brought on board. I said I was going to be at an event. I became unwell. They turned up. I wasn't there. They were looking for me. I'd asked somebody else to greet them, but they missed them. And then they were gone. Next year, the person came up to me, and when I was doing the review, went back to them. They said, "Hey, mate, you weren't there. I was looking for you." And I went, "Well, I was actually drunk." And he said, "Well, it doesn't matter. I felt uncomfortable in the situation." So it's that delivery is also that they feel comfortable and relaxed when they're around the place, and somebody just goes up and greets them and lets them know that we care for them. And then the other part of it is that sponsorship should not sit out by itself. It should be part of your strategic plan. So when we did a strategic planning workshop recently, and it's having that connection. So your governance is really important, and then your leadership. So your leaders all need to understand what you're doing. And as I said, it should be connected to your participation. So knowing how many people you've got in your club, the type of demographics in your club, those sorts of things. All those things are connected to your financial plan, so your targets. And then also part of it too is your facility management, if you've got a facility. So sponsorship, and we've got at the end of the slide deck the council licenses and leases policy. So if you've got sponsorship signage, it needs to be in line with council. So it's part of your planning for how you manage facilities, if you've got them. And then the other one I've just put in there is fair access. So in terms of fair access policies, it's part of council procedures. That should be part of your strategic plan so that you're meeting with those things. And then sponsorship and fundraising are really one part that should be part of the strategic plan. If it's not, you can go back to the leadership group and the executive and say, well, no, was it not in the strategic plan? What roles it play in the club? It's important. It needs to be part of your identity and your planning. And the top thing right at the top is your governance, and that's about having the right people in the leadership positions. And this part, how to sell your club, I suppose it goes back to knowing your story. So what makes a club special, the history, the culture, the community impact. So that's the new vibe and language in the sector now. It's not just the numbers, it's the impact. So the impact, a couple of examples in sport would be, you've got a young child who's never played sport before. They've come to your session and they've joined their sporting club for the very first time. They've had their first coach. They've had their first time they've worn the uniform. They've learned to go through where they win and lose. So that impact on that person is really important. And masters, when you're talking about masters swimming, people coming back to the sport are just as important as those coming in for the first time. So some of those stories, if you capture those, are amazing. And people can drift away from sport for a long time, but then if somebody asks them to come back, and it might not be right in their life for a while, maybe they had kids or the career, or they've moved and they come back to a community. So those sorts of things impact stories, a part of how you sell your club and how you show that. And visual is really, really important too. So that starts at everything. It starts at your website, it starts at your social media, those sorts of things. And that should be broad in the terms of your people. So if you want to sell a club to others, you need to think of the different parts of your community where you're going to have impact. It should be, a culturally diverse, all sorts of people, kids, adults, whoever's in your club. You need to be visual about that, and also warm. So it's about, because what they're wanting to buy into is people. So it needs to be warm so that they can see the impacts that you're having on the community, and then highlighting that to your audience. And also the other thing is that being consistent. So consistent with your imagery. That's that image on the side talking about your major sponsors and then your premium partners. The story may be different for the different ones you're going for. So your major sponsor, if they're going to invest, you really got to know what they want. So what they're interested in for their business and how you connect with them. So at that top level, you really got to be on your game of where your impact is and what the impact is for the sponsor that you're going to give them and help them with their story that they take to the community. And then the other thing is to maintain your relationships with your sponsors. So you've got to build that relationship, stay in touch all year round, not just at renewal time. Show appreciation. I had a really big boss in my job at Deakin, and he had some rules. And one of our rules was to say thank you. It matters so much. And thank you at events, newsletters, all those sorts of things. Once you deliver on your promises and keep them updated on things, and also just keep on chatting to them about if there's any ways you can add value. So just something which I think is a really good thing to do as well is talk to them when you're in getting closer to having them become a sponsor, and find out what matters to them and how that can build on the relationship. So we in my club we have an inclusion and diversity position, and they align things with sponsors. So they have days when they're talking to them. Are you interested in International Women's Day? Are you interested in LGBTQ plus? Are you interested in Indigenous celebrations? So that's in that conversation piece. And if you're leading that, you can really get some great value out of knowing your sponsors and then maintaining that relationship, what's important to them. And then the other one that I suppose I should say about Leisure Networks, we specialise in inclusion. We are our NDS provider. So the things that we've done down in our region, we've supported inclusion AFL competition, inclusion netball competition, and a basketball competition as well. We're also just about to roll out across Victoria a junior inclusion AFL competition. So we're working with AFL Victoria on that. And I think that that's really important to show some of those messages to your sponsors that you're an inclusive club and everybody's welcome. It really matters. And that quote that I've got there is just sort of, it's like I've come up in fostering inclusion and celebrating diversity by welcoming people of all ages, backgrounds and abilities, and creating a respectful and belonging-centred club culture. So I think it's really important. I think that also you'll find with your sponsors that they will appreciate that. And inclusion can be down to that you have somebody who comes to the club so with autism and those sorts of things, and you just need to make sure that when they come into the environment that they feel safe and that they want to stay and the environment is comfortable for them to stay. And that, that shows that in terms of sponsorship, it's just bigger than that, because you may go out and be talking to sponsors, getting sponsors on board, but if their kids aren't having a great experience and don't feel welcome, they'll bounce. And if people bouncing out of your club isn't a healthy thing for your club, and it really does it really helps sponsors with that. When I talk about that impact. So, and that can be, as I said earlier, it can be around special rounds, which I'm probably sure most clubs do. It can be working on with Indigenous community, so that may be a uniform that you work with them to design for NAIDOC Week. All those sorts of things, they just really add value, and it can actually lead to income. And then just some of the more innovative sponsorship fundraising ideas. I suppose it goes down to your club to have those sorts of things. So I would say the big message would be to talk to your people in your club and throw it out to them. Don't take it on yourself. So, some of those might be having the sort of trivia nights, those sorts of things, the raffles, to get that better extra income. We all know a Bunnings barbecue is probably worth about $1,000 if you get yourself organised to get there. But just working with some of the gyms, the retailers, just have a little special campaigns. So they might be the smaller dollars which really matter to a club. So you may, an example there with gyms, they might be the ones who are doing your female round, and maybe Fernwood or something like that, where you've got a women's gym only, those sorts of things. It's just tailoring and just trying to work out what works. And then small merch can be a really good idea too. So it's a big thing to put it on your uniform because it can cost you a lot of money when you're changing. But little other merch things that you do, like in this year's merch, which is new to last year's, that's where you can use those limited edition gear, those sorts of things, which can just bring in that little bit of extra money. And then, other things like monetising your coaching clinics over school holidays and those sorts of things. From a funding perspective, they just add up. So you need your big money dollars in your sponsorship, but then you still need to keep those other things going, and you can't do it all yourself. So the trap people fall into, I'm going to do it myself. No, you've got to have people support you, because it's a lot. Get some great people around you and make sure your leaders are fully on board with that. Now this one, we'll turn the microphones on in a tick. It's one I wanted to highlight. So some of you will know about it, so bear with me, but others may not. So the Australian Sports Foundation is somewhere where you can get significant money in for your club if you're well organised. So basically what it is that you can register with Australian Sports Foundation. It can be as a club or a specific project. And with that, you can then get a tax deductible number where people can donate money to a cause. And when they donate that money, they will get a number, which can become part of their taxation when they're doing their tax refund. And so in my case, we did one. We raised 2,500. I donated for 2,500 to the club. Next year, when I got my tax, I got that 100% back. And this can be used for major campaigns, and examples of that. A lot of football clubs do them. definitely surf lifesaving clubs are big on this because they have a lot of members. They have people who have actually got significant income. So down my way, like Fairhaven Surf Lifesaving Club, a major campaign, and they would have organisations like that use this for sure. And then on the smaller things, I was talking to Claire when I was preparing this, you've got the smaller ones where it can be just getting a player who's going to represent Victoria or Australia to raise some funds to help them with their costs. And on the other extreme, it can be somebody who's actually got no resources to play in a state team or pathways. And then your club can go, well, this is what we're going to do to help them. And for someone like that, it might be $1,500 and then lots of little donations, and you can get them off to their championship with the support of your community. So, Claire, if it's okay, I might turn mics on so we can have a bit of a chat about this to see if anybody has used it and understands the benefits.
I think everyone should be able to unmic themselves if they're...
So first question, is anybody using the Australian Sports Foundation?
No.
No?
We're not. We haven't.
Right. Yeah.
No, we're not using it, Andrew. I've never even heard of it, but it sounds incredible, mate. You're saying that people don't have to, you don't have to be registered with the ACNC as a charity or anything like that, or you don't have to be a PBI. You can just hook in through this and give out tax deductible receipts for donations. That's incredible.
Yep. So you work with your treasurer because it needs to be connected to a bank account. So
that's easy enough. Yep.
Yep. The one that we set up with Bendigo Bank, we set up a specific bank account for it. So it needs to be separate from your other accounts or account number. Yeah. So it was a specific account. When we set it up, it was had a title. That was to get money for the hockey pitch that I was talking about. And then there's only a couple of founding members. We only raised about $4,500, but a bit of it was myself and the other founding member tested it worked. And then we both went, that's a little while ago, we went back and we got it back in our tax. And my partner, my wife's going, oh, I don't know about this. But then when I went to my account at the end of the year, he said, yeah, no sweat, just give us the number. And the money came back 100%. So if you want to raise good money.
I actually think that's huge, mate. Like seriously, people, successful businesses or just individuals on high tax, on high incomes in the community being able to galvanize them and say, hey, listen, we can get you a tax deduction. Some people will be saving 45, 50% on that. So, they give you 10 grand. Well, it's only really costing them 5. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's 100. It's 100. When I put in $2,500, I got the whole amount back. I know it's pretty crazy. So Australian government, it was set up as a foundation for sport because they knew that we needed to raise money. So the first thing is have a Google, have a bit of a look, see who else is in there, see who's raising money. Some are small, some are big. Claire, you've had a look at it. Have you looked at it recently or not?
I'm having a look at it right now in the background.
Okay. Hey, we're talking now. Feel free, just Google it now. And is it still going? Is it there, Claire?
As in you're the one for the hockey?
Oh, so there we go. Do you want to share your screen?
I haven't got that one up, but you can just, it's sort of like a bit of a library across the whole country, and
it's got a search engine. There's all sorts of things there.
It's quite easy to use, and if you are, like you said, Dave, like if you're just an individual that wants to donate some money to a club, whatever a club's got going on, yes, you can just go in and do that. It's really easy to do. Yeah. It's a great resource.
Yeah. So we also in the sport I know, it's used, as I said, we actually use it to help kids get away to championships. So that as a I think you can set them up. I could be wrong here, but I think you can set them up as an individual. So, because with players who play in state teams and country teams and that sort of stuff, I'm sure they set themselves up as individuals. So I've donated to some people. Yeah. So you can do it. So it's a really good thing for your clubs, but also for your people, and also you may have some club members who will get into it. So this is so I suppose myself, I've always gone for the bigger money rather than little bits and pieces. I'm not a little fundraiser, so I've always gone for grants, and I haven't got it in here now but for Sport Creation Victoria and those sorts of things, and local council grants, I use those for getting anytime there's any new uniforms, or I use that to get those sorts of things or equipment. So around 5,000, you can get into council grants or Sport Creation Victoria grants, where uniform grants, but I commonly do them around, because I'm big on inclusion, I do around inclusion stuff. So we've got our Indigenous shirt, we've got some artwork done, turn that into shirts. Then I put in the grants. I've got grants every time I do it. And then the story has gone on and on. Actually, with the new hockey pitch we've got our Indigenous art is actually stitched into the pitch. But those things really make a difference. So I'm going back off topic here, but it's all linked. If you tell a great story here, or you've got something which is significant, beautiful place to get money. And your own. You've got free use of it when you get it. So that's the best bit. It doesn't come with conditions like other money. It's yours. So if you just make sure your title's right, and you say what you're going to deliver, and then you stick to delivering that, and it's a really good tool.
And I think as well with this one is, like, you can raise funds. You can possibly reach people that are outside of the club as well.
Yes.
And yeah, you're right. If you've told that, if you've told the story about your club and it, it resonates with someone else that actually isn't even connected to the club, but they relate to it, and they're wanting to donate some funds, and it's another really good resource to try and have some greater reach. You can share it on your socials channels and through other networks and things like that.
So looking at the people who are in this webinar, from a master swimming perspective, it could be something which you sponsor a team to go somewhere, or not, collect money for a team to travel, or instead, if somebody gets to a higher level, you can help. If the club people want to help them, they can. So I think it's one of the best used best resources out there. And as I said, it can be huge or it can be small. And some clubs have raised millions.
Can I just ask, just on that? Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
It's a tax deductible, so it would be treated like another tax deduction off your income. So wouldn't it depend on your marginal tax rate how much you wouldn't get the whole donation back?
Depends on your tax rate. Yes, absolutely.
So you couldn't say to someone, "Give me 5,000, you're going to get 5,000 back." It'll be like any other deduction. It'll reduce their tax.
Yes. It depends on your income. And then some people don't have the, it's not going to make any difference to them. So if you, if you're living off your superannuation, those sorts of things, and you're not paying that much tax, it's not a benefit for you. But if you think of some within your club, somebody may have a business and they've just sold their business. They're going to be paying a lot of tax. Somebody's got a hand up there. I don't know. No.
Sorry, Andrew. I didn't want to butt in, but I just had a thought. For just general sponsorship, like essentially donations to the club, I mean, can you utilise this facility for that? Because if a business is donating, say, 5,000, 10,000, whatever, to your club, well, can you provide them a tax deduction tax deductible receipt through this
I
function?
I don't know. You go away and investigate that. If you can, I have thought of that myself, but I wouldn't want to answer that. But certainly, if you've got like you want a new change room, say you've got a new set of change rooms, and then as a business they did it, they put money into that. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't want to comment on tax. I'm online here, been recorded. Yeah. So, but I'll leave it as homework for you to Google it, have a look at whatever your sport is and what others are doing in the sport. Think about it. So it's a good one to think about. And then this is even bigger. So this is about donors. So this is a story I'm going to tell about impact. So when I talked about people coming into your club and leaving your club, you just don't know the impact that you're having on their lives. I'm still completely hooked to sport. I started when I was 10. I'm still playing the same sport and I still give so much energy to it. That's because I'm passionate. It drives my family nuts, but that's just who I am. And there's just so many people like that, where they come into that sports club and that's part of their identity. So people can be really passionate about their club. This is a story about this person called Bruce Pryor. And it's a case study from Sydney Uni where he and his wife played when they were young. They met in the club. They were low-grade hockey players. That was the part of their journey in life. Went extremely successful business people, no children, and they came back in the end and they actually went to the club and they said, we'd like to donate significantly, and they sponsored a whole hockey pitch was what happened. Universities are very good at it. However, just don't underestimate who is in your club and how passionate they are for your club. So it's I know it's a big story, but it is just some of the stories that happen out there. So yes, it's a little bit about money, but it's also the bigger story is that the impact you have on people, and that can be small, it can be sponsors, but it can actually, if you're organised, it can actually be something that can work for you. I'm not saying it will, but it's just these are the bigger ones. And then the other ones are sort of is your grants and those sorts of things. So having somebody who writes good grants is a really, really good thing. I just thought I'd share this too as an example, what you may want to consider. It's where somebody's actually got a designated position for partnerships in the club. So it's more than sponsorship. So this one is an example of where the person actually develops those targets around partnerships, ensures the strategy aligns with the club, and then they build the relationships with the stakeholders and partners and donors, and then they monitor and report that. So and then they can and they work with the people who are doing the communication streams around marketing and those sorts of things around making sure that it's all connected. In this position description, it's got the Australian Sports Foundation lead, so they would be leading that, and then the fundraising lead and things like past players activation. That's a real case study of a position description. I know it's pretty intense, but it's sort of shows that if it's it's all actually connected. So that's really that's just a bit of an example of how you can go. Because I've been going to this is the bigger side of things, but the small things matter. And then we've just got Claire and myself just got some resources in here. So you'll get the presentation after from Claire. Do you provide it to everybody, Claire, or just on the?
Yeah, I'll send this through with these links. I just wanted to mention the one, so the marketing and promotion, that's a link to a webinar recording that we did earlier in the year on the topic of marketing and promoting your club, which sort of ties into a little bit of what was spoken about today. So if you missed that and you want more information on sort of that storytelling and how to sell your club, I'd recommend watching that. And then the very last one is something that actually came across my inbox on Monday, which is timely with us having this webinar, but healthy partnerships in Victoria is what Vic Sport and Vic Health are calling it, and they've released some guidelines around I guess how to build a partnership, in sport. They've provided like templates around like a sponsorship proposal templates, MOU templates. Yeah, and it links in really well with what Andrew's spoken about today. So I'll include that in the slides as well, because it's looked really good. So definitely take a look at that. I'm sure you'll find it useful when thinking about sponsors and partnerships in the future.
And then the council community grants are really important for us. Aligning with somebody when you get some strategy pieces where you can align it with council. It's always worth a bit of a go. What amounts of money can you get for a clue?
So we've got our small grants, which are offered, I believe, every quarter or possibly just 3 times a year, and I believe that's up to $3,000.
Yeah.
And that is for like small community development projects, but then also equipment as well. And then we've got our larger scale grants that come up for application. I believe it's Feb or March, so just around the corner as well. But I will notify all of our clubs in Manningham about those dates and things, so you shouldn't miss them. And if you need any assistance with any grant writing or have any questions about those, please feel free to reach out as they start to become available too.
I think with the council grants too, it's all about relationships. If you've got a relationship with the council officers, keep up with Claire, go and borrow a coffee or whatever. It really makes a difference, because they tell the story back, and they can also coach you. So if you've missed the mark and you don't get the funding, they can help coach you. Like I've done a lot of grants, but I still muck up sometimes one of the little bits in them. The Sport Creation Victoria grants I think are really useful for the equipment ones, so they can be up to I think 5 or 3, but they're really good for just the things which cost you money. In hockey, it's like a goalkeeping kit is $2,000 every single time you buy one. So they're just really good things just to, so you don't have that expense, or you save one of your members the expense. And the uniforms, as I said, if they're themed, it really helps you get them. If you just say we want a bunch of uniforms, you won't get anything. But if it's some sort of theme around the community, you have a lot more chance getting them. We've also got sort of the Manningham Council Resource Hub there. I talked about earlier about the license agreements around the signage, so that's in that link. So that's just some links for you. So now with our mics back off again, just wondering if you want to just sort of tell us what your thoughts and what you learned and what you might take back, or if there's any other questions you want to ask me about how you would do sponsorship and fundraising.
I think that, like in the ideal world, it'd be great to have a committee member specifically for fundraising, sponsorships, and all these connections, because a lot of committee members are already really busy and snowed under with their job. So it's probably something to consider to make it an actual position.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's Yeah, I think that's a really good idea to take away. And you'll get their slide deck. So that looks pretty big. You might want to pull it back, but that is a real example of a position. And that you'd need others if you're going to do it that way.
Yeah, we were lucky with Masters Swimming Australia. We applied for a grant and got a lot of money from them after COVID to do quite a lot of things with.
Yeah, that's
great. And we did use a real estate agent years ago. Built a sign with our swimming club and the junior swimming club's name on it.
Yeah.
For out the front of the swimming centre, and we realised it was 20 years old or something, and we approached them a couple of years ago, and they redid it all for free, a new one. So that was an example of a really good connection. We thought they'd probably say, "Oh no, we don't want to do it anymore," but they jumped at it. So that was
fantastic,
really good. Yeah.
Not so much a question, guys. I just wanted to confirm, Claire, that you'll send out the deck to us who have attended. You've got our details. Obviously, I couldn't find your email anywhere, so
it's on the deck. It'll go to slides.
But yes, I will. I've got your emails. I'll probably have it to you.
Thank you.
Early next week.
Go. Yeah, great. And also, I'm pretty new in this area as well, and I think the club that I'm part of, the basketball club in Warrandyte, we're sort of, it's been pretty ad hoc over the journey, and we don't really have much structure in terms of the sponsorship area. And some other clubs, and Katie's online. I know Katie quite well. She's awesome in the community and doing a great job. And the footy club do a really good job, and so the netball club. And it would be great to have I don't know, some guidance around some pitch packs that we could put together. It's hard to know, like we're on social media, we've got websites, we've got, obviously uniform sponsorships, all those sorts of things where we are hitting the council up just for approval to get some signage up in the stadiums that we hire. We don't have our own facilities. That's a challenge for us. But, just something that you can build in terms of what can you actually deliver for sponsors. And, I see a lot of clubs doing, major sponsor, platinum, gold, silver, those sorts of structures. And I mean, that's kind of seems to be universally accepted out there as a way of doing it. And we've never really done that. And I think that could just be a simple way of communicating, what do we do for X amount of dollars? I don't really know where to start on that sort of stuff, except to look to other clubs in the area and kind of, emulate what they're doing. And I just thought, is there some best practice stuff around just the practical ways of doing that?
And the other thing might be, if there's somebody who's not in your area, who's not a competitor, they might share it with you. If they're in your community, in your community, they're not going to want to share because it's. But if you go outside it, find a buddy who's not that far away, where you're not competing for the same dollars, and say, can I check out your sponsorship back?
Spot on, Andrew. And that's the thing. Warrandyte's a pretty small little community, and there's fantastic businesses that support other clubs, and I don't want to be going. I'm going to try to tap on them for just get more out of the same people. It's not right. So
the other thing that I was going to say, but I forgot to say it, is that some of the ones who do sponsor some of the other clubs can come with really high expectations. So if they've really looked after them and done a lot for them, they can go. You go, oh, I want to get you to sponsor them, but they get the expectations of just, like when you say deliver on your promises, you can't even deliver on the promises because of what they expect in return. It's not worth shaking the hand.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly
so
right.
some businesses want to get so much, you don't want to be their partners. Just try and find one and steal, I reckon. I don't know if you'll find examples. You go.
Dave, I'll have a little bit of a look around and a chat, even internally with my colleagues, and I'll see what I can find. And I will, send you through some more content around like what could you actually be offering sponsors as a club. And it could even be, it might be worth myself even having a conversation at council we've got an economic development team, and they work really closely with businesses in Manningham. Whether they've got, they could potentially provide some insights from the actual businesses and organisations that are being sponsors for clubs. That could be they might have some insights as well to share. So leave it with me. I'll come back to you.
That'd be really appreciated. Thank you, Claire.
Hey, Dave, can I just jump in?
Yo.
Hello. Hey, I'd be happy to have a chat with you and share my matrix that we're creating at the moment. We are having different levels of sponsorships, but I'd be more than happy to share it with you. And
Katie, you're a champ, mate. That doesn't surprise me about you at all. Thank you.
No, but there is businesses in Warrandyte. I know it's a small town, but that businesses do want to share equally amongst the clubs. Yes. So it's not like that you're missing out because you're not getting sponsored by a particular business at the moment. So it is worthwhile, and maybe we can hook up for a chat at another time soon, and I'll share with you what I'm doing at the moment.
Amazing. Thanks, Katie.
No worries. But Andrew, can I just ask you something? Yeah. What's your spin on having two of the same businesses as a sponsor? Yeah, it's a tricky one. We've got sort of a battle approaching at the moment, but I mean. So
you're netball, eh? Is that right? Or what's yours again?
I'm footy. I'm footy club.
Footy. Yeah, footy club. Yeah.
So we've been approached by two two same businesses.
Yeah.
And I mean, my idea would be only to have one business per, whatever they are. But what's your spin on it?
They're difficult.
Right.
My own story is we had one. We had somebody in the business. The person in the business went to somebody and they said, "Nah, we're out." So we went, okay, in good faith. That's what we believe. So we went and grabbed another one, got some more money, and then the other one said, "You've let us down because you didn't talk to our directors. Our directors would have said yes." So somebody lower down and said no. Very hard no. And then and now our sponsorship person's signed on something exclusive again. So now we're going to go back to the other one. So they're tricky. They're the hardest of the lot because.
Hey, Katie. Maybe that's the benefit of working a little bit more together in the same community, because there might be an opportunity at a different club, and I'm not just saying us, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely. But what I did recently is I went onto all of the footy clubs within a 10-15 kilometre radius, and a lot of them have got on their website their sponsorship deals and what their what their levels are and what they cost, basically.
Yeah.
And that gave me a really good an idea of what I should be pitching, but also what these clubs give their sponsors for that amount of money. So some of the businesses sponsor them 40 grand. Park Orchards Footy Club's got huge sponsorship. So it was incredible. It was a really good learning tool for me to see what other clubs are offering.
Yeah. I know down here one of the football clubs has got somebody who's got a pretty big business and they just pump money into it. So it's not really like a proper sponsorship deal because they've got money and they just chuck it in. So, but that I think the hardest are real estate agents because people come and go in the businesses as well. So they're tricky. I suppose it's just transparent conversations. That's the best you can do, isn't it?
Yep. Okay, cool.
Yeah, be cautious of saying that it's exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew. And one other question: is it better for clubs? And I've been speaking to people that kind of get their sponsorship deals signed up for 3 years, a 3-year deal rather than just a 1-year deal. So you don't have to keep renegotiating every year.
Well, for financial sustainability, it's a great idea, and also for volunteers, we're really busy, so that decreases some of the volunteer workload. So I think it's a great idea if you can get them for 3. In fact, when I think of my own sports club, we definitely do the major is we won't give them 1. The major has to be a minimum of 2. Because it's so much work because you've got to do redo things again if they step aside. So really, I would say the majors you'd be trying to get 3, but you wouldn't be doing 1 year for your majors because and then you've got others who just can become partners and just do 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. But next thing you know, you've got a decade of $1,000, which is great income for your club. I think that that'd be the case with if you can. 3 is fantastic.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments? I think one of the for me being involved in this one, I think one of the big ones might be the Australian Sports Foundation to go back and have a look at that and look around what's in there because it's and you may find your club's got one you don't even know, but I think it is a good way to get revenue.
Yeah, it's great. I've really enjoyed it, Andrew and Claire. Thank you. It's been very insightful. Great.
Yeah, completely agree. Thank you so much, guys.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. I think that's it then. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone. Have a nice night.
Everyone. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Claire. There we go. Got that one done. That's good.
Great.